Before we bring this around and close this out, I want to hear from each of you. What were your favorite moments or memories or experience so far before working on the show and working with each other's team members and whoever?
Well, you said before working on the show?
No, like before moving forward. So like in the past, since the show starting, what's your favorite memory or moment? Like you got a good story? Anything good on set happen? Any cool things? You got any?
Just generally on any set or on our set?
No, on your set for the show.
On our set. Well, I got mishap stories.
I was looking
funny.
at Alice.
Well, okay, favorite or most memorable. So you can do a bad experience when something went crazy or whatever.
Yeah, I got
something
memorable.
stuck out in your head.
I got one. I feel like Eliyannah, you know what I'm about to talk about, but we were recently contacted by PBS, and they're going to feature us in this show that they're doing about the joy of reading, like the power of reading, and how that can shape your life and that kind of thing. And so we had to do a single day shoot of the stuff that's for season 2. So we had to separately pull together enough money for a single day of that. We shot this overnight at a friend's place. She's letting us use their backyard, which is amazing, saving on location fees, hot tip.
Thank you.
And so our locations person, quote unquote, was my friend who owns this house, right? And we're shooting outside overnight. We have not enough money. We have not enough time. And we have to get this done so that we haven't wasted all this money and so that we have enough behind-the-scenes footage to submit to PBS.
And overnight is in we had a 6 p.m. call time, so we were going to wrap at 6 a.m.
That
so
kind of overnight. We shot 12 hours of nighttime. So when we say we ask a lot of our cast and crew, we mean it. It's also freezing cold. It was
December
overnight,
in Pasadena.
2 a.m. in Pasadena in December. Right, or January. So it was very cold. And we're all out there. We're making it happen. We're already stressed about the tight schedule and all the things we have to get done that night. And then the sprinklers went off.
In the middle of...
literally in the middle of a shot. Sprinklers are going off. We're filming this dinner party, this very elaborate setup on a table.
On the table.
Wow.
Oh yeah. And the sprinklers in the backyard just go off.
And it wasn't just a sprinkler.
No.
It was
the
backyard exploded.
Surrounded. And we've got a camera out there. We've got lighting equipment. We've got cables all over the ground. There are candles on the table. There's all of it, right? So the light, the water starts going off, and immediately the entire crew rushes to grab the electronics. Immediately. Everybody is where's the camera? Get the camera the hell out of there. Get the lights out of there. And then I, had to go run off and find, the girl who owns the house to go shut off the water. Meanwhile, all of the actors are scrambling to, not get their costumes soaked because we're still in the middle of a shoot. There's all the rest of the crew is scrambling to just try and cover the chairs, the table, the set dressing. Because aside from the things that are dangerous when they get wet, we also still have to shoot these things. And at no point in the dinner party was everything supposed to get wet. So you put the camera back up and you start rolling and you're like, why is everybody suddenly soaking wet? Why is all the food soggy? It's so weird how this just randomly happened. I don't understand. It's you cut to this person and their food is crumbs, soggy crumbs in a puddle of water, and then you cut over here, and their food's just fine. It was what's happening?
Mess.
Yeah. So we had a really long delay because of that. Actually, at that point you have to safety check everything. You got to check all the cables. You have to make sure everything is completely dry. Redress the entire set. It was an hour and 20-minute delay.
And then that's when
we already had
when you talk about momentum, though, right? Because I don't play sports, but I watch basketball a lot. And when you go on a run, it's easy to stay on that run, right? Because now you got the momentum on your side. And so we're doing an overnight shoot. What you about to say?
No, just getting ready.
Okay. So we're doing it's an overnight shoot, and everybody, and we had gotten people we shoot, we got this, we got that, and then you lose an hour to sprinklers, and now you feel like it's 3 a.m. and you feel like you've been there all night, and
you feel like you're cold and you're wet from the sprinklers,
and then you're and so of course Alice is our first AD, and the first AD is the person that runs the set, and I'm directing, and so now I gotta get. Me and Alice have to kind of try to galvanize everybody and get the crew back and get the cast back in the right emotional state, and because we ask a lot of them, even though it was December and they were outside, they weren't dressed like it was December They were dressed like it was winter, you know. So they got the most wet because they were in the middle of the scene. They didn't have like their coats on like the rest of us did. So now I got to be like, okay, we'll get you some hot chocolate. Let's get back in the scene. Like, I think you know, wipe the shoulders off. Okay, we're back at it. You know what I mean?
I think we went through like 200 little sets of those little hot hands. You know those little hot hands, you shake them and you put them in your pockets? We must have gone through 200 of those things that night.
You know.
Yeah.
And thankfully, because I don't want to say where we got them from, but one of our people was working on a different show at the time and was able to just get them from her job.
Able to borrow them.
They fell off the back of the truck.
Fell off the back of the truck. Because we do work in production, you know.
Was like, oh shit, give me like 200 of them.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Is that 500 in the inventory? I think that's a 3.
I think
300 hot hands?
wrote it wrong.
Got it.
So,
It's like, it's whatever we want it.
that was
fine.
a good one. Yeah. That was a good one. We had another one, and this was like not good.
Oh,
But
no.
I know. This one wasn't good, but when we did the 3 days back in March, it was basically the last shot of the night that we had pushed back the one girl's coverage in one of the scenes.
Oh, I just remembered what you're talking about. Oh.
But I'm only saying this because people that listen also may want to work in production, and you have to manage these things.
Yes.
And
it's important.
So we had a situation where we had held this one girl, we held her coverage on the couch. It was a whole thing. And then, you know, she comes on set and I was like, I'm looking at the monitor, I'm like, it looks like she's about to cry. And I was like, what's going on? Because that's not what the scene is.
Right. Yeah.
She's irritated, but not like on the verge of tears.
Right.
And so I went to her and I was like, hey, you know, let's talk about the scene. You know, I'm trying to get to like, okay, you know, where are you? And then basically she told me she had been burned. One of our hairstylists had basically burned her shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Like with a
hot curling
iron.
Didn't
burned her neck. Like pretty
didn't
severely.
tell any of us.
No one said a word to anyone outside of the hair
Sent
room.
her to set, and now her hair is like irritating the burn.
Right, her hair's like sitting on the burn.
She's also sitting under lights.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Suffering.
Bubbling on
Just suffering.
And so she was in intense pain sitting there.
And I think she thought that we knew.
She thought she 100% did. She thought that we all knew and didn't care.
And just had her
and
own.
just wanted her to just do it anyway.
Like and she was just like the crying Native American, just with the.
You know what? You know what?
Well, because as she should have, she assumed that the hairstylist said something to us.
Because she should have.
She has the obligation to do that. I mean, honestly, like you're a professional working on a job and you burn someone. Accidents happen, but you can't just act like it didn't happen and just hope it goes away.
The hairstylist was like, don't tell anybody. And then she leaves, and then you're like, that was a close one.
Yeah, right?
But I feel like that's essentially what happened. That this hairstylist thought she got it.
Right.
And I mean, literally, this girl is like sitting here trying to do the performance on the verge of tears. And I was just like, what is this? And I just thought that she was just overdoing it, you know, because I'm like, wow, this is a lot for this moment.
Right. Which would have been out of character for her. Like, she always delivers a very on-note performance.
Right,
So.
and so it was just really weird. And so that was one of those things that, of course, we had to shut everything down. We have to apologize to her profusely because we just didn't know. And we have to make sure she knows that we're not just saying we didn't know because we genuinely had no idea.
Right.
They ain't get no Band-Aid for her or nothing?
Nothing. Literally nothing. They just set her hair right on top of her open wig.
And just sent her to set.
Yeah, it was a very upsetting.
It was a mess. We were, and I was furious.
And then of course, you know, Eliyannah has to stay in a creative headspace, and so the rest of the producing team now has a difficult job, right? Because it has to be addressed, both to the actress, which luckily, like Eliyannah has a great relationship with our cast. So we obviously have to talk about it with her, but also on the flip side of that, we have this hard situation where we have to address this with the hairstylist.
Yeah.
Who, again, is underpaid, there to help us out, right? Whatever, but doing somebody a favor and helping them out doesn't excuse you from...
sending a burn victim to set.
Right.
You just can't do that.
To set, like, all right, there you go.
Yeah, it just like, you know, drop it off. And
so unfortunately, we had to handle that, which is a challenge, of course, and not something to be taken lightly when you set out on a large project of this scale. You work with a lot of people, and it's not always going to be... puppies and rainbows.
Yeah.
It's a collaborative medium, and my philosophy from my musical theater background is the show must go on.
The show
yeah.
must
So-
go on. And I think that that's what the actress was also kind
Right.
of in that mindset.
Yeah.
But
No, but I mean, like, even as crew and producers, like with the hairstylist thing, like, at the end of the day, like, we're working together for a bigger goal.
Right.
So, like, if one part of the machine isn't working, it's going to detriment, and you're only as strong as your weakest link, you know?
That's
So,
it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But very importantly, and this is the AD in me coming out, is just give us all the information, because just because something went wrong doesn't mean everything's now a disaster, right? You give us the information and we just make the right call.
Yeah.
Like what we do when she's burned and she can't come to set until she gets treated and calms down and we address all of that, you just shift and you shoot a different shot.
yeah, that's
Right.
it.
But
And
if
especially
you
because
don't
there was
tell
literally
us-
a Walgreens like 2 doors down.
Right.
Once we knew the burn happened, it was easy to send someone to
Right.
get a
like
few things.
specialized burn.
But
It's never the problem. It's always the cover up.
it's
Right.
always the cover up.
Always the cover-up,
It's
exactly.
always the cover
Exactly.
up. That's
Makes a much bigger problem.
It's always the cover up. So that was another one that really stood out to me because I had never experienced that, and it was again another instance of, because at the same time I did still have to shoot her that night.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe I'm just as bad as the hairstylist. I don't know. We did treat her, but it was very much like, okay, you good?
show must go on.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Well, she rallied though, like, and I think, if she hadn't felt capable
Yeah.
of doing it, if she
Boot
wasn't
rally.
up to it,
yeah, I
You
would have
know.
just dropped the shot. I don't know
Right.
what I would have
We'd
done.
have
'cause
dropped
we
the
didn't have
shot.
we didn't have the location again.
no.
Look, I always give the example when it comes like that. Show must go on. You get hurt or injured on set. Like, I want to make sure everyone's safe, but at the same time, you gotta remember Django and Leo fucking smash his own hand and
Yes.
use the blood to
Yes.
smear on her face. Like,
Yeah.
damn, son, what a method.
did.
Oh yeah.
Like,
He did.
Jesus.
He did. I mean, it's
No, I'm not saying
it's
she
a lot
should be
easier.
like.
Well, I just think it's a lot easier to forgive when there's like millions of dollars that you're being paid, and
Right.
you know what I mean. It's
Yeah, very true.
but
Very true.
thankfully,
It's a little bit different budget you guys were working with.
Also, he cut his own hand with an action that he did.
yeah.
He wasn't just
Very
sitting
true.
in the chair and somebody like took out a glass and cut him and then went, okay, you're good, right?
Use it. Tarantino was like, just use it, bro.
Right. He
Oh,
had
my
agency.
bad.
He made his own choice.
Yeah.
And I feel like that really changes it. It really
Yeah.
does.
No,
change
those are both very valid.
and so
points.
that was so that was a situation that was memorable and will always stand out to me. And of course, now I'm like looking at necks and just making sure that everybody's comfortable because you just. But I also think that opened up another level of communication between she and I, because and I know the producers did too, but I very much had to be like, listen, if anything ever happens, like, yes, they should tell us, but like, let me know if you're not good. And I'm not saying that, and I feel like you say that all the time, but things change when you're in the situation. You know what I'm saying? You start to shoot off, hey, communicate, talk to me, this is that and the third. But like, if nothing's bad happening, you're not testing that. And so when it was time for the test, she didn't tell me. And so now I get a chance to say, no, hey, listen, I really truly mean if you're not good, let me know.
Right.
Whatever it is, let me know.